is SOLIS still worth getting in Season 71? This is the question I intend to answer by buying it new on my free-to-play account. Now, the core function has remained the same, where it still has 2 blinding projectiles that can be thrown at long range. However, the blind only lasts for 1.5 seconds, which is basically nothing, and the cooldown is a lot higher. The only thing that it gets in return is a 3-second speed boost after using each charge. So we are going to head over to the Gear Hub, and we are going to buy this for almost 1,000,000 credits, which is actually a task that we have. So, fair enough. Let's get that over with. That's expensive. Hopefully it was worth it. All right, so we have it started off with Hornet 12 and 8 for now. Pretty easy build to get going because both of these weapons cost credits. One, I would say, very important note to make about SOLIS specifically is the order in which the orbs fire. So, like, I fired my right one first. Now, if I want to get this guy, I can't just peek out that way. Got to go a little bit further. I'm going to fire my Hornet 12 last so that it's the one that applies the venom. I get more venom damage that way. Now, let's take a better look at my cooldown after this next blind. Not yet. I like that speed boost. It's kind of cool. Yeah, 10 seconds, even though I have an epic cooldown implant on here. Not that good. And a mech like... Ooh, nice. I like that venom. A mech like SOLIS doesn't benefit a ton from... I'm going to preemptively blind there. You don't need a lock. It's not like Orion. You don't need a lock to do that. Uh-oh. Hold on, I can kill you. I can kill you. Pretty sure. Oh. Oh. Please. No. Okay. Right. Here's a bit longer range of a map. This should help me slightly. A little bit of a better map for a ranged mech like SOLIS. But, uh-oh. I say that, but then there's this guy who has Gemini, it looks like. Better that than Strike Rocket. Nice, I got him with a radius. That's one thing that SOLIS has that I do, you know, that is still useful. Is the radius to hit multiple enemies. Cooldown time, I mean, it's still not as long as Hemlock, right? So in terms of, like, just spamming it, it can still spam it much better than Hemlock can. It's 12 seconds to get 2 charges versus Hemlock's 16 seconds to only get 1. So in terms of, like, value in that sense, sure. I don't think that's changed. But I think you have to also consider just the fact that a SOLIS blind is not that helpful as compared to a Hemlock Daze. I might try to blind him. No, I can't really. Kind of a problem. Ooh, yeah. My weapons don't fire up and over enough for this. If I had Strike Rocket, that might be different. Or even Pod Gun, maybe. Do that. And then the speed boost is, like, it's kind of nice, but I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't think a mech like SOLIS needs a speed boost. Who cares? I'm gonna be back here, like, kind of camping anyway, right? So the fact that it can be faster while not moving, essentially, is really pointless. It is just kind of really pointless. I think I have to back up. This Orion might kind of mess me up. Okay. I don't want to lose this beacon because this is kind of the last one that we have. But I also can't really push enemies. Okay, there we go. Gotta be careful. I gotta be real careful. I might even just let myself die, to be honest. I might even just be purposely more aggro than I should. Yeah, just spawn into something a little bit F-tier that can push a little harder. Trading out the Hornets for Strike Rockets. Definitely less DPS, especially since I have a rare guided pilot only. But it'll allow me a little bit more freedom in terms of what I can shoot at and what types of cover I can take, which might be helpful here. My ability, of course, has infinite range, so if I ever feel like I want to blind. Actually, I probably will, just in an attempt to sort of help my bot get some ground there. No, he didn't, because he's dumb, but whatever. I want to figure out what he has before doing anything crazy. I might just blind that bot and then move back. Yeah. Yeet. Helix rack. Some helix rack. Some helix rack of little consequences, what that is. It's fine. I don't care. What the heck are you, bro? I kind of want to kill that guy, because he's I know it's a real player. This bot I can probably hide from. Wow, okay. I'll take a bit of damage from that. That's not good. But I can fire over his... Ooh, over his mod there. That Eva01. That's a bot name, but that's definitely a player. No, I saw him die. He's there now. Alright, I can probably just try to finesse this. Nah, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Yeah, I'm so weak in terms of pushes. Like, anyone pushing up on me to any extent, the blind doesn't really stop them. So, I'm thinking, try to just use the ability for speed boost right off the bat. The only real benefit that I can really think of in terms of the ability changing is obviously the speed boost. That's the only upside to it. So, using that to some extent to try to reposition when things are starting to go bad can potentially be helpful. The problem is that it's really difficult to tell when something's gonna go bad, because you can't just, you know, back off when someone starts to get close, right? It's not always that easy, and it's usually not that easy. And anyone that gets close can usually close whatever distance you know, make by just running for a couple seconds. Because at the end of the day, the ability doesn't grant you a whole lot of distance either. It does grant you some extra distance, but not a lot. You need a range implant on me. Need a better pilot for this is what I really need. Normally I would use the ability pretty liberally, just because I know my cooldown is very short. But in this case, I'm thinking that it's maybe a little too long, and so I'm not using it as much as I should or could. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be letting that stop me, though. Just blinding enemies, even bots, can obviously be helpful. I just need to find a way to prioritize a little better. So I'm going to throw it in there. So I want to prioritize enemies that are grouped together, I think. Since I can't really throw it at just anybody, I have to pick my targets a little better. And I'm going to try to choose the ones that are grouped together and the ones that are, like in this corridor, for example, because they're the most immediate threat, I would say. And there's also this guy. I might even just do that. I don't really know what he has. He's got EM rifles. I don't really care. Oh. Did I get them through the dome shield? They have a dome shield and I blinded them through it? That's crazy. Alright. Let me just deal with this guy. I don't really need any level of blinding him in order to shoot him. Oh, maybe now I do. Uh-oh. I'm gonna reposition. Again, doesn't really help when everyone's shooting me at the same time. And he's got Strike Rocket too, so that's pretty bad. But what in the world build is that? Okay. We have a pretty significant lead, though. Here, I'm gonna go up to this side. I'm just gonna use my ability real quick, just the first time, for a little bit of a speed boost to grab this beacon quicker. So now we have one beacon faster than they do, which puts us at a very small beacon advantage. But any advantage is better than none. Maybe move up. My weapons are sort of limiting me at the moment. If I had Hornet, it might actually be better, because I think my homing range on that was higher. I had a range implant on it. I'm gonna stick around here. Oh, I'm looking at the minimap, right? They're all on the left side. So I think in preparation for what's probably going to become pretty big problems, I'm gonna kind of go over here. Now that's a player, so I'll blind him a little bit. Let my bots approach him. Obviously a support type mech like SOLIS is not so great when you're dealing with bot teammates, because they're not going to capitalize on it, right? They don't know to capitalize on enemies being blinded. It's not to say that a player always would either, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, it should deal with you pretty well. There we go. I saw some guys moving up that way. Nah, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. He's moving up the left now. I think this middle area works well. I'm enjoying this. My radius, how big is my radius? For a second I was like, wait a second, did I kill him with that? Nah, I didn't kill him with that. This is a problem. I want my ability back. When I get it back, I'm gonna move back that way. This is no bueno. Oh, actually, I killed him, but okay. That's good. I must have not had I didn't blind him for whatever reason. I must have not had lock range on him. Or not, like, lock angle, I mean. Sorry. Not range. Ah. Okay. Sure. I'll take that. That's a valid answer. Oh, okay, he ran in and died. I'm sort of enjoying, like, the extra amount of thought that I have to put into moving as a ranged support. That's just not a thing that you really do. You just find an angle and take it, for the most part. I'm really extraordinarily screwed here. I almost killed him. Dang, bro. If I wasn't moved up on by 2 Aegis at the same time, it actually would have been perfectly fine. Alright, the last one we're going to try here is Pod Gun. I have the 16 and the 8. So this is not a build that you can make with credits. I just got lucky with the 16 in a Crate Rush event, right? This will probably be the strongest DPS-wise that I have, but it's also the worst of the 3 weapons just overall. I can blind them from here. No, I can't. My radius is not high enough. I do have a radius implant. You guys might have noticed that even though the duration got cut, I'm not trying to make up for it by using a duration implant. And the reason is because it's super simple. The reason is literally just because the duration's so short. Percentage increases on something that's that small is just not going to do anything. So it's kind of... It's too short to be saved, is what I'm trying to say. Even if I had a maxed legendary cooldown implant, I couldn't even get it up to 2 seconds. I couldn't even get it a half second faster. Not even a half second faster. It's pretty bad. So yeah, I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm just going to work with cooldown and radius. Which, cooldown I'm going to need a little bit now that the cooldown's been increased, but not the biggest deal. I expected the cooldown increase to be a lot, like a more serious concern, but it actually hasn't been a big deal. I actually find myself, like, I don't really spam the ability that much. It's not the type of ability that, like, you constantly are spamming. Now, sometimes you do want that, but I would say most of the time I don't. Ow. So I haven't noticed it a whole lot. I have not. Even still, the blind duration, I think, it's really bad. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna blind you because I know he's gonna crash me. I may as well get it out. Let's just... Can I curve that around? Can I kill him with that? It's not dealing any damage. Why is it not dealing any damage, bro? I'm gonna blind both of them. At least attempt to. Some damage there. I can kill him. Okay. Yeah, my right side is the one that counts because that's my 16. My left side doesn't do a lot of damage comparatively. So when I peek, peeking with the left side is not going to do almost anything. If I peek, I really want to do that with the right. Sorry, not the left. The opposite of what I said. Uh-oh. Seems like my team is grabbing the center. What is the kill situation? That guy's got a lot, which is good for me. Oh, he's got the new thing. Let's go. I'll just kind of spam, yeah, just kind of spam blind him for a little bit, which can be very disorienting, right? Even though it's like only 1.5 seconds, you blind them once, that really messes them up for, 1.5 seconds. You give them another 1 to 2 seconds to kind of recuperate slightly before blinding them again. right when you come off of a blind, you don't immediately know what's going on. You have to then reassess what's going on. So you have a little bit extra time. You don't have to do it back to back, is what I'm saying. You extend your effective period a bit more. Oh, I got him. Let's go. And I managed to survive the entire match. Well, I shouldn't speak too soon. Hold on. What is that? An Onyx. Yep. Again, give him just like a small amount of time to recuperate and then blind him again. I think that works well. I think that works pretty well. I'm actually not hating this. Hey, let's go. And I got him right before we got 100 influence. That's a decent one to end it on. I don't want this video to drag out because I think you guys are all kind of wondering what's the verdict on this, right? First off, I think the nerf was a bit worse than I kind of expected it to be. The speed boost specifically is not nearly as useful as I thought it would be. You kind of just never use it. And even if you want to use it, it's just a moderate speed boost on a moderate base speed and for like only a tiny amount of time. So ultimately, it doesn't really help you get much extra ground at all. Now, with that said, I will say that the cooldown increase also didn't affect me as much as I thought it would, because I don't really spam the ability that much, and so long as you're being moderately careful, the difference between like 8 and 12 seconds is not a big deal, especially when you include cooldown implants, which I was doing this entire time. And so with both of those aspects being relatively meaningless, what I definitely noticed the most is the blind duration going from 3 seconds down to 1.5. But I do kind of wish there was some level of something to kind of compensate for it, because at the end of the day, this was not supposed to be a nerf, it was supposed to be a rework to make SOLIS less annoying. Because it is, right? The blind status effect is just incredibly annoying. Reworking it kind of makes sense to be less obnoxious, and I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is a relatively direct nerf to SOLIS itself, which was already not that strong. People would use it in top competitive gameplay, sure, but it's strictly range support. It's not because it's OP, it's just because it's able to mildly inconvenience a lot of people on the field within a short time frame. I don't really expect to see this in competitive play anymore. But even with that said, I'm not saying that I think SOLIS is bad. I think it is worse than Hemlock as a mech, but in terms of good guided platforms, SOLIS is still very, very nice, second only to Outlaw. So if you already have an Outlaw, then maybe you can skip on SOLIS and buy a weapon that would get you those tier stars cheaper. But otherwise, I would say that while it is definitely less useful, it is still worth buying for most people.